Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Can you hear me now? Welcome in to Morning in the Valley. Glad you are with us today. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we will talk with the head coach of the Murray State women's basketball program, Rechelle Turner, our first two-time visitor here on Morning in the Valley. As we will talk about the summer, how things have gone so far. They're in a bit of a down period right now. Coach Turner does something maybe a little bit unique, and we'll talk to her about that as she gives her team basically the month of July off. There's a bunch of recruiting. Obviously, it's an important recruiting month for Coach Turner and her staff, but gives a chance for her kids to get home. One of the things we will talk about, though, today is while Coach Turner was recruiting, she was in Louisville over the weekend at the Run for Roses Classic, the Run for Roses Championship, when they had the situation there on Sunday, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So we're going to get Coach Turner's first-person account of what happened there in Louisville, as we will get her first-person account and just see, how everything went down, and then also just have more of a global situation conversation, I guess, about recruiting and those types of events. There were some coaches, Robin Schur over at Evansville, talking about, look, this is a concern. At that point, I think we didn't know all the facts of the situation, but when you have an event with 40,000 people, there can be safety concerns. And so we'll talk with Coach Turner about all that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Today, we will have Coach Turner in 10 minutes. We will also got some scheduling news, some old friend alerts as well. We'll get into all that coming up here in just a few minutes. If you have not done so already, please head on over to YouTube, search out Morning in the Valley, subscribe to us there, help us continue to grow this program. And it's time now to get rolling here with our headlines of the day. And again, as we talked about ad nauseum on Monday, over the weekend, on Sunday in Louisville at the Kentucky Expo Center at the massive Run for Roses AAU event. It was a situation. There was what was believed to be a shots fired situation in the venue. In that sort of telephone game, things ran rampant, and it just turned into a mass evacuation of the building. In what really could only be described as, on some level, a stampede of people. I mean, for fearing for their lives in that moment, and that was obviously a major situation. In the end, I think within 24 hours, and I know that the initial, they shut down the event on Sunday. They're like, hey, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll have bag checks. We'll have metal detectors. And there was some blowback towards the organizers about, what are we doing here? This is just coming off as a money grab, blah, 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 all that stuff. So yesterday we got a statement from the Run for Roses event, and it's a little bit lengthy. We're going to show it all to you. I'll read it. You can read along at home if you would like, but this is the statement from Tucker Neal, the president of Ohio basketball, regarding the situation on Sunday. He said, on Sunday, an unfortunate malfunction at the Kentucky Expo Center in Louisville during the Run for the Roses championships caused a loud disturbance. This led to several individuals shouting shots fired while fleeing the scene, which led to panic amongst guests and participants. This resulted in a mass evacuation, dozens of emergency calls to the Louisville Metro Police Department, and a full-scale response to the venue. He continued, we're relieved to report that once the building was safely evacuated, an investigation found there was no active shooter, no credible threat, and more importantly, no one was harmed. A smoke alarm triggered by a duct vent sensor malfunction caused the disturbance, and at no time were any of the participants or guests in any danger. We are deeply grateful for the fast and professional response by on-site security, LMPD, the state security personnel, and all of whom acted swiftly to secure the facility and protect everyone in attendance. We recognize the fear and disruption experienced by our participants, spectators, and community members as a result of the facility's malfunctions and the resulting panic. I want to personally reassure all guests Ohio basketball events are safe and secure. We are using this incident as an opportunity to take additional steps to effective immediately to further strengthen that commitment. For all events featuring more than 20 courts at a single venue, we're implementing on-site bag checks, metal detector screenings at all entrances. We are also working closely with the Kentucky venues and local authorities to review our safety protocols and make additional improvements where needed. The safety and well-being of every player, coach, family member, and staff member is and always will be our top priority. Thank you for your continued support. So that was the statement, and I think in a lot of ways, it is an exhale of some sort for people that were there, that this was not an active shooter situation, which is just mind-blowing in itself, but the worst possible situation. But as we talked about Monday, look, I'm glad they're going to go to we got to go through the bag checks. We got to have whether it's clear bags, whether you're going through metal detectors. When you have that many people in one place, you just have to be careful, and that's it. And so I'm glad that's going to move forward, hopefully for the kids that were there and that were affected, certainly from a traumatic event, that now when it's like, okay, it's just a duct vent sensor or whatever the problem went on, that everybody can just maybe not today, maybe soon enough, chuckle about it and go, okay, thank goodness that's all it was. But that doesn't really remove still those 5, 10, 15 minutes of panic getting out of the building. But hopefully everybody is all right, in a good headspace moving forward. And because it's another big recruiting evaluation weekend this weekend coming up. And one of the coaches that will be on the road this weekend, it will be the head coach of the Murray State Racers. She is Rechelle Turner, and she joins us now. Coach, hello.
Good morning.
Hey, we got you on the first time today. All right, I love it. All right, you were in Louisville. Just from your seat and the moment of truth when suddenly all hell broke loose there. Just what happened from what you saw?
Well, it was a unique situation for us that we had everybody together. And what I mean by that is I was watching one of our 26 commits on one court. Coach Kayla was several courts away watching another kid, we're trying to make a decision on. And Haven Ford was in the building because her sister was playing. And she actually had gone to watch one of our 27 point guards to support her and, kind of to give us her opinion. And so the game had just finished and we all kind of met back up at the court. And I was on almost exactly the middle court in the building, middle to as length and middle to as wide. I couldn't have probably been more in the middle. And about the time we started discussing these players, the fire alarm went off. Well, that's happened before. I mean, as many events as we've been at, and so we just sit there and continue to talk. And then the loudspeaker comes on, please exit the building, exit the building now. And so we're like, well, okay. So we just casually kind of start walking to the back of the building. And at that time, you can kind of see a little flow of people running towards the back. So we speed up our walk a little bit as we get towards the doors. And so we're literally probably 10 feet from the back doors. We get out there. Everybody just thinks it's a fire alarm. Nobody's panicked in any way, really, at this point. It depended on where you were in the building. I think that's where it came in. And we're talking, and Haven, like any other 21-year-old, has her camera out. They're trying to figure out what's going on, maybe filming a little bit. That's just what they do. So I kind of had my back to her, and I was talking to Coach Kayla, and Coach Kayla was facing the building. And it was like in a split second, I could see her face. And I thought, something's wrong, because I just know her. But I saw her face and immediately heard the screaming. And it was a second wave of people coming out of the part of the building just right down from us. It had to be 300-400 people rushing out, screaming, run. That's all I could hear is run. And so Mama kicked in, and I whipped around, and I grabbed Haven by the shirt. I'm surprised I didn't rip it off her body, and slungshot her and said, run. And so we took off running, and I'd say for that 30 seconds to a minute, heart racing. I obviously need to get on elliptical or something, because by the time we ran all the way to the horse barns, and we jumped 3 fences. There's actually some video of 40,000 people in the entire place, and there's video of me jumping a fence. And of course, Coach Faust found it immediately. and has shared it with everyone. So, but in all honesty, a time there that you think I am running from something, because why would those people be running if somebody's not chasing them or whatever? But at no time did we hear any gunshots or anything like that. And when we got out to the horse barn, there were police officers, ambulances coming, there were helicopters. And it depended on what side of the building you were on, because we were on the side of the building in the very back. Well, the people in the front were dealing with waves of the SWAT team coming in with air assault rifles. I mean, running past them. So when I got a chance to talk to some of my coaching colleagues, the way they felt during the event and what they saw was totally different than what we saw. But just thankful to God that it was whatever it was, and that nobody was injured, because that place it's the biggest women's AAU tournament in the world, and it could have been really, really bad.
The telephone game can be a dangerous game at times. And to your point, when you get one person that thinks they hear something, and then it just starts, it spreads like wildfire. And then you get that, we saw the videos, it's just the stampedes trying to run out of the building, when ultimately it was something very benign. In the end, I saw some, you know, social media can be an interesting place, and you would see some people like, we're not going back tomorrow because we don't, we didn't know that it was just some equipment malfunction in the roof of the building. And then, some coaches feeling the need to come out. I saw, Bradley's Kate Popovic going, look, if you don't, this isn't going to affect your recruiting, but you got some kids that are like, whether it's FOMO or what, like, I can't not be here, even if this isn't best for me. Did you catch any of that? And I guess sort of your thoughts to the kids that maybe didn't feel comfortable coming back that next day, but are trying to balance out, I don't want to mess my future up a little bit.
Sure. And I mean, when we actually got to out as far as we could get, we ran all the way, and so did everybody. I mean, there were tons of people out there, and you saw college coaches crying, you saw players crying, you saw parents crying. Everybody deals with situations like that differently. So will there be mental issues related to this? Absolutely, because it was scary. I mean, and especially there were a lot of young children in the building. There were elderly people in the building trying to get out. I do know some people were trampled a little bit and injured. So there's all sorts of things to deal with. But, you're shooting a free throw, and the next thing you know, you hear run, and, you have no idea what's going on. So to downplay any of that would be a shame, because everybody is going to deal with that differently. And then Nike came out and decided that it was best for their teams not to participate. I think more so for the mental health part than anything, but other teams decided to go back. And I had conversations with coaches, and one of my former players is an assistant coach, and she texted and said, I don't know what to do, because I don't want to feel like if I go back tomorrow that I'm condemning what happened or what somebody might do or whatever. And I don't want people to think that life is not as basketball is more important than life. And I said, or you could look at it this way, as Coach Kayla and I are looking at, is if those kids have enough faith over fear to go back in that building and play a game we all love tomorrow, then I'm going to be sitting on that sideline showing them that my faith is bigger than my fear, and that I'm going to support them in that way. And she said, well, I didn't think of it that way. Well, at the 8:05 game the next day, I looked up, and sure enough, she was there sitting beside me. So she had made that decision too. But you knew you were going to get it either way. If you went, people were going to say, well, oh, you're supporting that. It's all about the money, and you're just playing into it. And then there were going to be people say, well, you don't have enough faith to just go on with your life and your job. So everybody's going to have a different opinion about it. But ultimately, it's something that I'm sure some people will deal with mentally for sure. I'll leave tomorrow to go to it. There's plenty of other events. I'm going to Pennsylvania, and we'll be right back in that same situation again.
One of your colleagues in the Valley, Robin Schur, in sort of the aftermath, posted this, like, this is something that you always worry about when you're in these giant venues, just security in general. Like, you think we're just playing basketball and we're there watching kids and you got families watching and so on. But in these venues, and obviously the Expo Center there at the Run for Roses is it's a whole other animal. I mean, it's so many people, but on a typical recruiting weekend, I mean, is that anything that ever really crosses your mind?
I mean, maybe when I'm watching some of my crime shows or something on Netflix but you don't, but I mean, you could think that if you walk into Walmart, I mean, I think one of the things that heightened up the intensity of that in Louisville was an hour and a half from Louisville that happened in the church at Lexington that morning. And I've seen plenty of fistfights at these events. And, parents getting upset at referees, parents getting upset with each other teams. There's been plenty of fights at these places, which is terrible. But you never know when that could lead to, to somebody pulling a weapon or something like that. So I think that in today's times, you have to be aware of your situation around you at all times. But it's not something you can either decide to live in that fear or not. And but there were bag checks and metal wands when we went back in the next day, and I would expect that there will be heightened security at every AAU event from here on out. So maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe this happened to prevent something down the road that we're going to pay more attention to making sure that we do that. For these prospective student athletes and their families and the coaches that attend these events.
An event like that, to shift lanes here a little bit, when you go to a place and there's 88 courts or whatever they have, there's only you, and you had some shifting of staff members there with you, but there's only one of you. How in the world do you attack an event like that over 3, 4, however many days it is, when, yep, I know there's some kids we want to, our targets, and we're focusing, I want to watch them play, but there's just, it's humanly impossible to kind of just have it be sort of a recruiting buffet, right? I mean, you can't do it.
Yeah, it is unreal. And that's why Coach Faust is a recruiting coordinator. He said that he probably spent 8 hours literally on setting where we were going to be and who was going to watch certain games. And like I said, we had even sent, using all of our resources. So if we have players in the building, we're going to send our players with their Murray State shirts to go stand on courts to have some type of presence. I mean, because you can't be everywhere, but you have to kind of decide, like, our 26 commits have not signed the dotted line yet. So, I mean, I want to be there and I want to show them the support and show them the love. And they're not even all playing in the same place. I mean, some play on Nike, some play on Under Armour, some play on Adidas. I mean, it's hard. But the way our staff is built, I believe this with my whole heart. If I'm there, or if Coach Nige is there, or Coach Faust there, or Coach Kayla's there, that's equal. And that's the way we build our staff, because my assistant coaches pour into these young women just as much as I do. They develop the relationship with them first sometimes before I even come in. So I just think somebody being there from our team to represent our team and show support. But I mean, and it never fails that 3 or 4 are playing at the same time. And sometimes you just jump from court to court. You do the best you can, and then you hope the young women understand that just because I'm not sitting there the entire time doesn't mean we don't love you, we don't want you, And but those are conversations that we have before the events. I will let them know where I'm going to be. I will let them know that there may be times that I won't be able to be at their exact game. So I think communication is key in that. Some of them care. Some of them want you right there front and center, and some of them may not even notice if I'm there.
From a recruiting attention standpoint, and that's part of the game, you want players to notice you and notice Murray State and come ultimately to Murray State. How have things changed in the last couple of months? Now that you are a NCAA tournament program, now that you are year 2 of the system behind you, always see Wyatt Faust, recruiting coordinator. If I see him post it once, I see him post it 25 times during the year after another 100-point game. And hey, we're number 2 in the country. Who wouldn't want to come play at Murray State and score all these points? Now that that's a little more ingrained, how has the recruiting earning their attention, how has that changed any, if at all?
I think it has. I don't know that if you ask those kids if did you choose us because we won last year? I think that might be a small part of it. I will always believe in the relationship piece. I will always believe in the fit. And I do think the change in style has attracted more players to us. Obviously, the move up in conference, it allows us to get in on players that we may not have been able to before. But yeah, we're going to use it all. I mean, I borrowed a baseball jersey from Skirka, and first day out, I'm sporting Murray State baseball because that's what everybody knows about. So he was gracious enough to give me a jersey. So we're going to utilize it all. And what they did was unbelievable and brought so much attention to Murray State. And we're so proud of what they do. That's people don't understand. Us coaches are every other coach on campus' biggest fan. We want everybody to win. We want everybody to get the brand out there, and the baseball brand was certainly there. So I thought that was kind of cool that I had asked him to borrow that, and I wore that out the first day. Got lots of compliments and lots of conversation starters with it for sure.
You and your staff spend a good chunk of July on the road. It is also, you do some things a little differently in that you, for July, kids go home. Why'd you start it? Why have you continued to do it? What's been so successful about it with them being away for essentially the entire month?
Yeah, well, I mean, these 2 weeks would be a mute point as we're on the road, and if they were here, and we don't want our players to be here when we're not here. I mean, that's part of the mama and me, but that's part of the why are we wasting their time? And you hear stories all the time about coaches are like, well, I got to fly out at 3 because we've got to work out in the morning, and then I've got to leave from there and go back to another venue, and I just don't think it's worth it. But we preach family at Murray State, and I don't think that you can truly have people buy into that unless you do it and you model it. So, our families love the fact that they have their young women in July. Family vacations for a mom, doctor's appointments are huge, trying to get those all in. And they know that they're going to have them at home. And our kids get a taste of what it's going to be like in June, and they start developing relationships. So they kind of start missing each other, and they would never admit it, but I think they kind of start missing us a little bit too. And so, the excitement of coming back in late July and just having basketball for 3 weeks before school starts, I think kind of energizes them. And, it's just about putting trust in them. I mean, if they come back and they haven't done anything, they're going to be really sorry come July 28th. But, we believe in them and we have faith in them, and they know the standard of this program. So it's just a give and take situation. But we're one of the only unique programs that does not do any basketball in July.
A handful of newcomers. It is always a shock to the system to, hey, especially for the incoming freshmen. I'm now playing college basketball. Demands are different, but certainly the physical demands of this program, especially with we're going to get out and we're going to run and we're going to run and we're going to run. How have, as a group, how have they acclimated so far?
Well, I'd probably say the greatest compliment I can give them in June was how hard they practiced. Whether it was an individual workout, whether it was a group workout, whether it was a team workout, I mean, they got after it. And it's kind of funny because, and maybe I should think about this more because we didn't play much defense last year. Late in the season, we really did. But the newcomers are like, I mean, you haven't mentioned defense. We haven't done a shell drill. We haven't done a defensive stance. And, they're coming from programs that I'm sure started day one. Let's get in a stance and let's learn the defensive system. And I said, yeah, we'll worry about that later. And but they got a kick out of that. But they understand. I mean, with the recruiting process of us getting them here, I mean, they were told we're going to score, we're going to play fast, and then we're going to do what we need to do defensively, hopefully to put ourselves in a position. But this team's definitely going to be different. So defense and pace is going to be something that's really big that maybe necessarily wasn't one of the most important things last year. So we're definitely going to focus on it. We've already got the plan ready to put all that in when they get back.
Dealt with some knee injuries last year. Firstly, Destiny Thomas tore her ACL back in January, missed the end of the run. How is she coming along? And I know when I talked to her, a month or so ago, she was like, I'm going to be ready when the season starts. But where's your head at with sort of her progression and when she might be ready to go for you?
Yeah, we won't rush it back for sure. I mean, we trust our team doctors. Dr. Blaylock Jr. does an amazing job with our players in their injuries. And so we'll just take it day by day. She is progressing. She's working hard. I think she's shooting now and doing some other things. So, you just don't want to bring a kid back too fast because you risk there being, difficulties with that or retweaking something and putting them out for the rest of the year. So we haven't made a decision exactly on her time frame yet, but I'll leave that to the people that are smarter than me to make that decision.
The other knee injury, Cam Hoover, that she tore it. Gosh, she was only on campus a week last year, and she tore her ACL and was out for the year. Got a chance to at least go through some warm ups and some non-contact stuff toward the end of the season. She's been fully cleared. How has she been in your eyes in the month of June when she was back out going full speed?
Yeah, she's really progressed. And Coach Faust, Kayla, and I had a conversation driving back the other day, like the last week of June was like her best week. I mean, she was kind of starting to feel confident, starting to get it, getting out of her head. And boy, was she getting where we needed her to be. And then, the break. But hopefully she can take that. And with players coming back from injury, there's such a mental battle as much as anything. Physically, she is fine. Physically, she is able to do everything we need her to do. It's going to be the mental battle and also the speed of the game. I mean, she sit there and watch, but it's different watching than actually being in it and having to make split decisions quickly and playing different positions and those type of things. But really pleased with her progress so far.
Lots of hand wringing, lots of pearl clutching about NCAA tournament expansion. Potentially, it's been tabled for now, but feels like it's not that far off the table of potentially going from 68 to 72 or 76. As a head coach who could potentially take advantage of expansion, but where do you fall on the whole thing?
Well, I think that it's going to be difficult with the expansion for them to just not take more of the top teams. But we have to do our part, not only individually but as a league, to schedule in a way that would allow us to have an opportunity to be an at large. But ultimately, you got to win. And that's our focus. And if we have a great season and we knock off a Power Four along the way and we get beat in the finals of the tournament, we hope that we have put ourselves in a position to possibly be considered. But at this point, getting two in has not been anything regular for a long time. So you focus on what you can control. But if they expand it, I think the Missouri Valley would definitely be worthy of more than one team for sure.
Last question. I know it's always the state secret about the schedule. Any idea when we might get to see some of it from you this year, when it might be done, at least the non-conference portion?
Yeah, well, the non-conference, if you know me, the non-conference been done for a
I
long
know.
time. I may be working 2 years out because I like to plan and be prepared. But that answer would have to come from our administration. But we're ready. We're excited. We are still waiting on our two opponents for the Daytona Beach Classic. I've had conversations with them of what we would be willing to do and who we would be willing to play, and I've told them we'll play two Power Fours, and so there's a possibility that'll happen. We're actually hoping it does, just to put our kids in that situation, because I think you're going to see some growing pains early with this team, and if we go 2-8 in non-conference, that's going to have to be okay, because it's all about conference now. It's all about winning championships. The standard's where it's at, and we've got to get to it. And I'm lying. It will not be okay if we go 2-8, but you understand what I'm saying. It's really not about just stacking wins anymore. It's putting your players in a position to be better. So hopefully when they release that schedule, maybe we'll be able to give you some information.
I wanted to cut you off and just flat call you a liar, but I figured you'd come around to it by the end. So, but you guys are going to an MTE for the first time, and
We are.
that's kind of a neat deal for the kids, right?
Yeah, I think so. We try to give them some type of experience every year. We're not able to do anything extremely big at times. And I had talked to the players a while back. I said, would you like for us to save money and do one big event in the 4 years that you're here? Or would you kind of like for us to give you some kind of different experience every year? And they're like, I think something every year would kind of be cool to look forward to. So that's kind of how we've set our parameters about what we're trying to do. And I mean, we've been to Disney, we've been to Gatlinburg, things that the kids like to do. And so we're kind of trying to build those experiences around things that they've never done and things that interest them. And you can say beach and they're all in. It's a really good tournament. It's going to have some good teams in it. It's going to challenge us and put us in position to hopefully be better for conference play.
Rechelle Turner, thank you for the time today. Glad everything was okay in Louisville last weekend. Safe travels to Pennsylvania, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, there is Coach Turner. I was wondering how long it was going to take for her to freaking break on that, because we're going, everything's going to be okay at 2-8. I was like, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. Bless her. But I thought it was interesting to get her perspective there from the Louisville stuff. Because again, that was just, and I think she nailed it. It was like kind of dependent what side of the building you're on. Were you over on the side with the field where nothing was going on, or were you out in the front of the building where you had police running in with shotguns and this and that? And it amped everybody up. And just thankfully, in the end, it was nothing. It was much ado about nothing in the most frightening of ways. And so glad that there will be an adjustment moving forward, and hopefully everybody will be okay moving forward. All right. Other news of the day. We've got some scheduling information out of Butler University, and this is stuff we've known about, but at least now we can say it has been confirmed. The Butler putting out their non-conference schedule. They will be playing Indiana State in an exhibition game. That is on November the 29th. Head coach Matthew Graves making his triumphant return to the hallowed grounds where he once played his college basketball. So that'll be, again, October the 29th, an exhibition game, and a neat opportunity there for Indiana State and their fans to go up to Hinkle and enjoy that. But that one, we knew about that a couple weeks ago, but official now that Butler has put out their information. Former Murray State guard Jacoby Wood has signed a professional contract. He's heading to Germany to play with the Tübingen Tigers. They play in the Bundesliga, which is my German's a little sketchy this morning. Hopefully that's all right. That's the top tier professional league in Germany. So he has found his first landing spot, finished his career at Murray State, started at Belmont, of course, 2 years, came to Murray for 3, 1,146 points, 34th all time on Murray State's scoring list, 438 assists, 4th all time behind a few guys you may have heard of, especially one, John Morant, Don Mann, Lamont Sleets, and Jacoby Wood sliding in there at number 4. Jacoby, the 48th 1,000-point scorer in Murray State history. And it's going to be an interesting list moving forward. And this isn't a Murray State thing. This is just a Missouri Valley thing. Is kind of from now on, like how many guys are going to score 1,000 points at a Missouri Valley Conference school? How many are going to be able to get that ceremonial ball in the pregame ceremony with their head coach saying, I scored 1,000 points here? That's the part I'm really interested to see because I imagine that number is going to be small. That's just the way it is. Because if dudes are good enough to score close to 1,000 points, they're going to be tempted to be poached potentially. So, but Jacoby has found his landing spot in Germany. And finally this morning, former old friend alert, Colby Altman, who once upon a time was a graduate assistant at Southern Illinois, 2009 to 2010 for 1 year with Chris Lowry. He is now the president of basketball operations with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he has received a contract extension with the Cavs through the 29-30 season. Just kind of an interesting basketball journey. Played 3 years of college basketball, left the game, went into real estate development for 3 years, came back out, gets a grad assistant job at SIU for 1 season, went to Columbia where he was an assistant coach for 2 years, and then in 2012 joined the Cavs front office and slowly worked his way up, was a player personnel guy, assistant GM when they won the championship with LeBron James in 2016, became the general manager in 2017, and now the president of basketball operations. He's been doing that the last 3.5 years, but now has a contract extension that will keep him nicely compensated in Cleveland, Ohio through the 2029-30 season. Well, that about does it for this morning's semi-abbreviated, certainly after the other day, an abbreviated version of Morning in the Valley. We have got lots of folks coming lined up here for you the next 2 weeks. SIU women's coach Kelly Bond White will be with us on Friday. The week after, we're going to have Brian Wardle, Bradley's head coach, Drew Steffi, the sophomore guard from Southern Illinois, Tanya Warren, the women's coach at Northern Iowa, will all be with us. So we will be back on Friday with Coach Kelly Bond White from SIU as they look to bounce back from a 4-win frustrating season this past year. So we're actually recording that interview later today. We'll bring that to you coming up on Friday. If you have not done so already, haven't been there already yet today, head on over to YouTube and find Morning in the Valley. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that stuff as this show continuing to grow a little bit every day, and could not do that without you. So appreciate all your continued support, and we will be back on Friday with another edition of Morning in the Valley.